People like to divide the world into us and them. It makes our lives easier if there are clear good guys and clear bad guys in our world. Maybe you, like I, have seen the scare ads put out by the evangelicals to try to scare us about Islam. Christians had better work to convert those Islamic people because they're having kids and we're not. They're going to take over. And then what? Then what? Well, then God will still be Lord of the church. That's what. We have no need to worry or fear Islam. No need to worry about or fear Mormonism, for that matter, or any other man-made religion that you can think of. We have only one thing to fear in this world, and that is God. God alone is omnipotent, omniscient, eternal, immutable. God alone is to be feared. And very fortunately, we just happen to be the ones he loves. We are the ones for whom he gave his son to die on the cross. As they say in Chicago, we're connected. Just trust in God. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but above all, remember that it's God who put Caesar where he is. And it's God who marked you as one of his children in holy baptism. In our Old Testament reading from Isaiah today, we see Cyrus, king of Persia. Cyrus did not just by happenstance amass a great deal of wealth and power, enough to even conquer Babylon, enough to pave the way for the Israelites to return to the promised land. Have you ever noticed how sometimes we forget that God controls the lives of the ungodly too? God is not just the God of the godly. God is the God of everyone. Cyrus, a complete heathen, worse than any Muslim ever thought about being. Cyrus was cherry-picked by God to be the one to have the money and the power to conquer Babylon. He could have chosen one of the Israelite rulers, right? Could have chosen anyone he wanted to, but he didn't. Throughout history, we see two particular things that come up over and over again that cause horrendous spiritual corruption. Money and power. Sometimes people complain, because the preacher around here talks about money too much. But you're going to love it tonight. Because I'm going to tell you that it's a great blessing that we don't have any. Listen to what Jesus says. He talks about the horrific danger of money and power. He told the rich young ruler, go sell everything you have. He said it's easier for a man to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is to get into heaven. He said the love of money is the root of all evil. It is God's gift to us that he keeps money and power away from his people so often. Because money and power often lead to destruction. Look what happened to the Greek Empire. Look what happened to the Roman Empire. Look at the greed and corruption that is still plaguing the Roman Catholic Church even today. The wealthiest member of the Christian church by far. So, he chose Cyrus. Completely outside his people. A complete heathen. To execute his plan. Cyrus helps us remember that it is not our job on this earth to beat down all the unbelievers. Like those ads on the internet and TV would have you believe. And you know what? It's not our job either to go and hide from them and hide our children from them, lest they corrupt us. Just the opposite. Our job is to get to know them, to build relationships with them, to find a way to proclaim the gospel to them. See, whether we're living in a Christian nation or a non-Christian nation, our goal is still the same. Obviously, all of us would prefer a Christian nation, right? Because it is far more pleasant for us. But God's in control of that, not us. We're only in charge of doing what we're called to do. Proclaim the love of Jesus. That's all we're in control of. And I hear Christians complain so much. They complain about the fact that there's no prayer in schools. They can complain about the fact that Roe versus Wade was the beginning of the moral collapse of this nation. They love to whisper that President Obama is secretly a Muslim. You know, these are not our chief concerns, folks. Whether they're true or whether they're untrue, they're not our chief concerns. Our chief concern is to proclaim the gospel. And perhaps really, we ought to concern ourselves more with our calling and less with whining about the condition of the mission field on which we've been placed. I know we had it easier when everything in life around us was based on Christian morals and Christian values. But guess what? 1950 is more than a half century gone now. And we are Christians of the 21st century. And this is our ballgame. And now we have real work to do. But remember, as we do our work, God is in control. There's no such thing as Allah. He's made up. And Buddha, he was a real guy. He perverted God's law to try to lead people to believe that they could lead perfect lives. He never did it himself, and then he died. Islam and Hinduism, two of the world's largest religions, based on human fantasy and dead leaders. Our God, on the other hand, is alive and well. Get to work. Rejoice in all the ungodliness around you, because our God, as he proved with Cyrus, as he proved with Caesar, is the master of all the ungodly. Just as he used King Cyrus to pave the way, just as he used Caesar. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, Jesus said. Caesar was God's tool. Caesar had led the world to peace. A perfect seedbed for the birth of Christianity. Be not afraid of Caesar. Be not afraid of the ungodly. Our God rules the earth and the heavens. Our God is Lord of his church. And we have nothing to fear. Please rise as we confess our faith in the words of the Apostles' Creed.